So Duke University says it needs to cut costs because a chunk of federal funding is about to go away. You see, those federal dollars help fund research, and Duke is good at research. Research that has led to major advancements. I mean, just look at the last 50 years. In 1976, a graduate student laid the groundwork for real-time ultrasound imaging. In 1990, a team of researchers developed the turbine methods used in power plants and airplanes. It was 2003 when new technology to detect eye disease came out of research at Duke. And in 2012, the world's first gigapixel camera. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And now, with hundreds of millions of dollars about to go away, WRAL's Shaun Gallagher reports on what Duke is doing to make ends meet.
If the devil's in the details, then Duke may be going from blue to red as it faces an uncertain future for federal funding. Duke releasing this statement Wednesday saying it's critical to take appropriate action sooner rather than later to lower costs.
Hi, this is Shaun Gallagher with WRAL.
We contacted a number of employees who spoke to us on the condition of anonymity, who confirmed Duke Executive Vice President Daniel Ennis has a goal of reducing their budget by $350 million, roughly 10% of the total.
Well, my first takeaway, honestly, is I'm not surprised.
Economics professor Mike Walden says this may just be the beginning for universities in the research triangle. The most recent data available shows Duke spent nearly $1 billion in federal money on research in 2023, and North Carolina received the sixth most money from the NIH last year alone, with uncertainty about if that money will be available moving forward.
I'm nervous because I can't govern on instability.
These cuts are something Durham Mayor Leonardo Williams has been concerned about since federal funding freezes went into effect. Duke says it will look for employees to voluntarily leave their jobs with incentives, and depending how many people do so, the university may decide on involuntary separations in July. But how many of the close to 50,000 people Duke and Duke Health employ is still up in the air. But it could be massive from the second largest private employer in the state and largest employer in Durham.
That's one less person that goes out and have dinner at a restaurant. That's one less person that shops at a local store. It starts to impede upon our local sales tax revenue, and eventually it hits home even harder where property tax starts to get hit.
Duke says it has reduced its spending by having a hiring freeze and stopping capital spending. All of this with the goal of preventing more losses with layoffs later this summer. In Durham, Shaun Gallagher, WRAL News.
Now, you might be hearing all of this and say, wait a minute, isn't Duke like super rich? I mean, at least 9 of today's living billionaires are Duke grads. Can't they donate a few bucks? Speaking of donations, what about that huge endowment? In fact, Duke benefits from 2 endowment funds. Their main source is a nonprofit, the Duke University Management Company. It has nearly $12 billion on hand, lots of it from donations. They had an 8% return last year, and over the past 15 years, the fund has nearly tripled, becoming one of the biggest endowments in the U.S. Then there's the Duke Endowment, based out of Charlotte. This is a private firm that started in 1924 by the university's founder. It's worth about $5 billion, though it's mostly about charity. Last year, they did give Duke $100 million, their biggest gift to the school in its history. So, why can't Duke just make up the difference there? Use some of that money? Well, there are a few reasons. Endowment funds are often restricted. For instance, donors can be specific about where they give their money and what that money goes to. They want it to be used for specific things like scholarships, faculty positions, or specific programs, and the fund can't really move that money around. The university also has a rule in place that only lets them spend 5% of the endowment each year, making sure that they don't bleed it dry. Plus, much of the endowment is invested in things like assets like real estate or private equity, and selling that stuff off isn't easy or ideal. You also might be wondering why Duke is getting so much public money in the first place. I mean, it is a private school that's almost impossible to get into with some of the highest tuition of any school in the country. But the reason is the public good, the work that they do, the advancements that they make, the things they discover, most of which can be tied back to the federal dollars promoting research. I'm curious what you think about this. Give me your thoughts. If you feel inclined to do so, email me, dan@wral.com. Tell me what is on your mind, and we will go in depth.